Hello everyone, Dead Spikes here. Today I'm making a video talking about why some uniques are just not as good as you think they are. If this is not the first video you've watched of mine, I would really appreciate if you punch that subscribe button. We're still less than 10% subscribed rate, so if you do enjoy my content, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into the video. Alright, so uniques are the legendary weapons we like to call from this game, or just the really special unique weapons that you go for. I guess there are armor and bows too, but in this video especially I am mostly talking about the unique style weapons. All of these in this weapon category right here. Some of these are pretty nice, but some of them are pretty bad and you probably didn't know why. So today I'm talking about this. One of the weapons I'm targeting in particular is the hawkbrand. The hawkbrand is actually a pretty terrible weapon, and I kind of believe there are some rare swords that are better than the hawkbrand. Now let's go over why. So you'll notice on all of uniques, okay, all unique weapons, anyways, every single one has that little hexagon right underneath its damage, that orange hexagon. Now, what is that orange hexagon? That's what we call the unique trait of the weapon. The unique trait is basically a free enchantment you get built onto the weapon. So like this Gravebane here says extra damage to undead, which is smiting. It has smiting built into it. Truthseeker says increased damage towards wounded enemies, which is committed. The Truthseeker has committed built into it. Nightmare Bite says spawn poison clouds. It has poison clouds built into it. The Last Laugh, more mobs drop emeralds, as Prospector built into it. Whirlwind has cast shockwaves, has shockwaves built into it. It's pretty self-explanatory after you read them and you connect the dots. Soul's critical boost on the Moondaggers, that's Enigma Resonator, I believe is what it's called, whichever one the crit one is. With the Eternal Knife, chance to gain souls. I don't even remember what that ability is called, but when you hit things, you get souls. And so on and so on and so on. The only weird one to me is the Fighter's Bindings. It says boost attack speed. I think that's actually Rapid Fire, which is the bow enchantment. Not actually sure, but it's quite interesting. All right, now let's talk about why some of these just are not good. You get a free enchantment, right? Shouldn't that be awesome? Shouldn't that just make it better than everything? Well, sadly, that free enchantment, this enchantment right here, this extra unique trait, is always a tier 1. Unfortunately, it is always a tier 1. What does that mean? All right, so this gets extra damage to undead, so it has smiting on it. Let's go find a weapon with smiting real. Smiting. Ba-bum-ba-bum. Oh, come on, I have to have one like right here. There it is. All right, smiting right here. Increases damage against the undead. Plus 20%, plus 30%, plus 40%. So the Gravebane only gets the plus 20% built into it. And some enchantments, like smiting, I believe is one of them. I don't actually know because I haven't tested it. I don't play around with smiting a whole lot. But some enchantments just will not appear twice. They just cannot. So an example of this is, I believe, smiting. I don't think you can have smiting on top here and smiting on bottom. That might not be true. I'm not exactly sure, but I know for a fact that crit cannot. Crit cannot show up on 2 enchantment slots, and the unique trait takes one of the enchantment slots. So this hawkbrand has critical hit chance built into it, which means it cannot have crit hit down here on the bottom. Now, why don't I like that? Well, if you look at crit hit, gives you a chance to inflict critical damage, dealing triple damage. That's pretty awesome. But when the hawkbrand has it built into it, it's only 10%. And there's no way to increase that. You are stuck with that 10% chance for triple damage. Where every other weapon you put crit hit on, you have a 20% chance to trigger. So it's almost hurting you, because crit hit on the hawkbrand would be pretty good, or just swords in general. It adds a lot of damage to it. As you can see, I got a pretty decent hawkbrand, but it just doesn't perform very well because of this handicap of the crit hit chance. I just think objectively the diamond sword is better, because the diamond sword gets sharpness, Now sharpness tier 1 gives it a 10% increased damage. Sure, it's not the most best increased damage stat you could get on a unique trait, but just a flat 10% damage boost is a lot better than making it so you can get maximum of 10% critical hit chance. Because then you could put crit down here on the bottom, for example, like the Heart Stealer. I could run crit, sharpness, radiance, or something like that on the Diamond Sword, and it's going to be a lot more efficient and deal a lot more damage than the hawkbrand. There are a lot of unique traits that are just terrible like this. Like Poison Cloud is just not very good for a tier 1 unique trait. So kind of the poison weapons just are not very good. I mean, it's basically just a rare with an added bonus is kind of what these turn into for the most part. Some things like the Moon Dagger's built-in Souls crit boost is actually pretty decent because it procs quite often if you run with max Souls. There are a few other weapons. I mean, Firebrand is just not very good because fire aspect on the first stage is not very good. Another weapon I like to talk about is the Sun's Grace. Tier 1 Radiance is pretty terrible, and that's what the Sun's Grace has built into it. Let's go look at that. Tier 1 Radiance is built in right here. Tier 1 Radiance only heals you for 343. Not a whole lot to sustain a team, so you'd have to have a second roll of Radiance on it to be able to make it viable, in my opinion, because you're not going to be able to heal through things very fast, especially since it's not a very fast weapon. But yeah, that'll kind of explain it. I hope this cleared up some things for you guys and helped you understand why I don't like certain uniques. I do try to play with a lot of different ones. As you can see, I have a lot of different ones built, but just some of them are just bad how they're built, and I think rares are better. If you enjoyed this video or you found it helpful at all, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you have not yet and you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you have a wonderful day. This is Vikes out.